Hare Krishna, Namaste.
Chapter 13 is entitled as Kshetrajña Yoga, also as Prakriti Purusha Vibhaga Yoga, also as Prakriti Purusha Viveka Yoga.
Sloka 12. Adhyātma-jñāna-nityatvaṁ tattva-jñānārtha-darśanam etaj iti proktam ajñānayatadonyatā. The last two qualities are mentioned in this sloka. Adhyātma-jñāna-nityatvaṁ, constantly fixing one's knowledge in the self. Tattva-jñānārtha-darśanam, having true knowledge of the self. Etaj, all this that was explained earlier as qualities. Jñānam as aid one to have knowledge of the self. Proktam is said to be nyathā, other than this. Ajñānaṁ is only opposite of true knowledge of the self. One should be steadfast in the knowledge of the self. One should pursue research only to attain knowledge of the realities. The qualities beginning with amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, until the point of what we are discussing now, are the only aid to realize the self, Atma. Everything else is only the opposite of knowledge. In this last sloka of the series that we've been seeing, a series of 20 qualities which are required for one to have self-realization. Atma-darśanam. These are the last two qualities. The 19th one is adhyātma-jñāna-nityatvaṁ and 20 is tattva-jñānārtha-darśanam. Let's see the first one, adhyātma-jñāna-nityatvaṁ. Always engaged in the process of self-realization. It is not that this person only thinks on a particular day, on a particular time about Atma, but he is always engaged in the process of self-realization. How can one be constantly engaged? By constantly trying to work on one's qualities that has been mentioned so far, these 20 qualities. One is said to be engaged in the program of self-realization. One may get engaged in any kinds of activities, but the thought of Atma must remain. That thought must be there constantly. And this is considered to be an important quality that one must develop. One should not become the victim of doubts in this process. The next one, number 20, is tattva-jñānārtha-darśanam. Knowledge of the reality should be the goal of our enquiries. People enquire so many things. People talk about so many things. People want to find some truth about many things. But everything else are considered useless or simply waste of time. The knowledge about Atma is what needs to be inquired, and everything else are considered to be aimless debates which needs to be avoided. So the main point to take from this sloka is jñānam, ajñānam.
Jnānam means jñāyate anena iti jñānam. Jnānam means by which the Atma is understood. That is called jñānam. And that jñānam is obtained by cultivating these 20 qualities. Opposite of jñānam is ajñānam, meaning anything that is not of what jñānam is called ajñānam. In other words, everything else other than knowledge of self are considered to be enemy of knowledge. That is how ajñānam need to be understood in this context. Just as asura, demon, means enemy of sura, deva. Likewise, ajñānam means enemy of jñānam. This topic about Atma, how much ever we hear or study about it, the subject is not that easy to be retained, remembered when we do our day-to-day activities. We pretty much get carried away back to our old school of thoughts that I am this body. Therefore, it is very important that one must continue to regularly hear and study about Atma. So what we learned today, the two qualities, one is adhyātma-jñāna-nityatvaṁ, meaning adhyātma-jñānam, the knowledge concerning the self. One should be steadfast in this. Second, tattva-jñānārtha-darśanam, that is, knowledge of the reality should be the goal of our enquiry. Aimless debates are to be avoided. We are all so much entangled in this body in our day-to-day activities that we totally forget that we are Atma. We are not this body. Therefore, these two qualities that Krishna has mentioned, the 19th and 20th, are very important that we incorporate as essential qualities in our day-to-day life. It is just out of kindness that Krishna has given us these 20 qualities to know and cultivate, so we can understand about ourselves as Atma and not this body. Therefore, it is important that we must strive hard to cultivate these 20 qualities: desire, anger, happiness, distress. These are all been with us for many lifetimes. But all these has to be controlled by cultivating these 20 qualities that Krishna recommended in these 5 slokas. First is to understand that Atma is different from the body. That was explained in the 11th quality, anahankaraha. As this thought becomes stronger, one can see the birth, disease, old age, and death that are happening around us, and also experiencing oneself these things, and start contemplating on the defects that's being produced by the body. That is explained in the 12th quality, janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha doshanu-darshanam. Just understanding about Atma and understanding about defect is not sufficient enough. One must constantly think of it, and that is what we saw today as 19th quality, adhyātma-jñāna-nityatvaṁ. Any thoughts other than Atma is an hindrance in one's spiritual path. That was mentioned in the 9th quality, Atma-vinigrihaha. For one to meditate upon Atma, one must be in an isolated place where there is no crowd. That was told in the 17th quality, vivikadesha sevatvam. But at the same time, having the association of saintly people is important, and to be devoid of materialistic association is very important. That was mentioned in the 18th quality, aratirjana samsadi. All our thoughts must help us to resolve around the Atma, not to pull us into anything else. That is what we saw in the 20th, tattva-jñānārtha-darśanam. One must be free of desire of anything that is not related to Atma. These are explained in 10th, 13th, 14th and 15th qualities. They are indriyārteshu vairagyam, asaktir, putradhara grahadeshu anabhisvangaha, ishtanishtopapatteshu nityam cha samachittatvam. Then one must not desire for name, fame, prestige. That was explained in the 2nd quality, adambitvam. Everyone is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, one must not hate anyone, not have grudge or revengeful thoughts. One must tolerate such situation and not to have any bad thoughts about anyone else. That was explained in 3, 4 and 5th qualities, ahimsa, shantir, arjavam. One may have all these qualities that's mentioned so far, but one may become arrogant because of one's education or wealth or birth of any of these things towards others, towards elders. That must be avoided, and that was said in the 1st amanitvam quality. The foundation of all these qualities are being learnt under the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, a guru. And as recommended by the Shastra, try to keep one's thought, speech and action in union, in sync. Keep them clean. And having complete faith in the Shastra which instructs us these things. Therefore, taking the shelter of a guru, serving the guru, enquiring him submissively, learning the Shastra from him and practicing them to keep our thought, speech and action clean. These are mentioned in 6, 7 and 8. Acharya upasanam, saucham, stairyam. Now, one may cultivate all these wonderful great qualities, but if they don't have bhakti towards Krishna, then all these are of no use. Why? Because without bhakti, just having these qualities will not lead one into the goal of self-realization. One will not get the Atma-darshanam. Therefore, all these qualities without bhakti
will take one nowhere. This bhakti must be an unalloyed bhakti towards Krishna. That is an essential quality which is mentioned as 16 quality item. Mai chananya yogena bhaktir avyabhicharini. So this covers all the 20 qualities from these 5 slokas 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Let's try to cultivate these qualities as Krishna strongly recommends for one who are in the path of Krishna consciousness in the spiritual pursuit. Adhyātma-jñāna-nityatvaṁ tattva-jñānārtha-darśanam etaj jñānam iti proktam ajñānayadato-nyathā. Namaste. Hare Krishna.